Welcome to the Manuchehri podcast. Over the last 30 years, it has been my joy to assist humanity in aligning with their magnificence so they may heal, discover their natural gifts, and communicate with loved ones living on the other side. May you also experience delight while we dance in the powerful, intuitive world of energy. Let's get going. Welcome to Where Energy Meets the Divine. Today, before we go to our phone lines, I'd love to talk to you about how everything has two answers. That's actually not super true, but it's just a way for you to understand that there's a logical answer that comes from your mind and there's an intuitive answer that comes from your intuition, your emotional response system. So if you are trying to make a decision about something or you want information about something, you're most likely going to get a logical answer first, because to tap into your intuition, you have to have your parasympathetic aspect in a calm, non-fight or flight response. You need to be in high vibration. So do you need to go for a walk? Do you need to take a nap? Do you need to drink a bunch of water? It's like you have to check in with yourself to find out what you need in order to get into that multisensory, high vibrational, more accurate than the logical mind response. So in a way, everything has two answers. And the answer that comes to you that you don't like very much is most likely the logical one. I mean, like 90% of the time, maybe 95% of the time, the one that you get maybe first, because maybe you don't regularly rest out of your fight or flight response. Maybe you don't regularly ground to the earth, find something that makes you happy and to keep your vibration elevated. I wouldn't ask an intuitive question about my own personal life if I weren't in the beautiful aspect of the neurological system, if I weren't in the most beautiful aspect of my neurological system, if my vibration wasn't elevated, if I wasn't well hydrated, if I wasn't happy, I wouldn't even bother, because I know it would be a waste of my time. So you've asked a question, you're curious about something, you're looking for an intuitive response. You're probably going to get a pretty quick answer that you may not like very much, or you wish it weren't true, or you hope that there's other options. There's always other options. In fact, there's knowledge on every vibrational level. So there's these frequencies of energy. Like, think of them as hallways, but really they're just like a dimensional space that surrounds Earth. And there's hundreds of them, thousands of them. They probably reach out to affinity. And on each vibrational layer is a completely different set of information, a completely different truth, a completely different solution. When you raise your vibration, then you enter into solutions that are desirable versus solutions that are not desirable. So keep in mind, everything could have two answers. And when you get the logical answer, you want to do everything you can to get your vibration, your energy system into a different frequency, not the logical one. The logical one's great. It's fine. It's easy to identify. You can implement it if you want to. But if you want your life to exist in a different reality than the majority of the human population, which will only help the human population to rise and increase their vibration, people that you don't even know, as your energy increases, are going to go, oh, what did that girl have for dinner? She looks amazing. What does that guy do for work? He looks so happy. You will attract people who are curious about your vibration, your frequency, even if they don't use that language. And that will help them to ultimately change the ways that they look at the world. It will help them to change their own personal reality. So yes, these activities will positively affect you, but they will positively affect the rest of humanity. And that's true no matter what you do in the world. If you do things that are positively good for you, they will be good for those around you and people that don't know you. You will be exuding a frequency and understanding and vibration into the world. So if that's going to be a good reason for you to get in your body, quiet your mind, find something that authentically makes you happy. It has to be authentic. It's not a fake it till you make it thing in terms of real happiness. And if you don't know what makes you happy, then you have a lot of exploring to do. It's not a bad thing. It just means you don't know a lot about yourself. You don't know what you are really interested in. Or perhaps there were many things that used to make you happy. Or perhaps there were many things that used to make you happy and they don't make you happy any longer. That doesn't mean anything's wrong. You just need to do more self-discovery. You need to go try new things, go play, have fun, explore, get curious about yourself the way creation is curious about you and interested and adores you. You want to invite that same kind of energy into your own perception of yourself. That's how people even discover their divinity purposes that they wanted to explore in this lifetime. And there's many. There isn't just one purpose. There's many purposes. We might all collectively, based on our soul age, have some collective purposes, accomplishments that we want to experience. I can say that collectively, the entire human race, regardless of how young or old their soul is, wants to learn how to manifest in a physical reality like Earth, in a third dimensional aspect, which is really cool. So when you start to put your energy towards something that the collective wants to experience, the universe is extremely helpful. The universe is always helpful, but most people don't keep their energy elevated long enough to actually sense the help or recognize that there's assistance. They're kind of out of touch with the multisensory world. And so they don't feel that there is help for them. And so they feel like they're alone or they're doing it all on their own. Even if the universe is calling down to them to raise their vibration so they can sense where the solutions are that are in their best interest or visualize the help that's readily there for them at all times, the universe is in constant admiration to all beings of light. So if you could get into that frequency of yourself, what can you adore about you? It doesn't matter what it is. It could be the tiniest thing. Maybe you think you have handsome feet. Could you spend 5 minutes just appreciating that? You will be surprised how high your vibration goes. Maybe you really feel that you have a keen mind and you've appreciated and valued how it works. Could you spend 5 minutes just loving and cherishing that aspect of yourself? Because creation is adoring every part of you. And most humans don't value or appreciate any significant volume of their genius, which everyone is. Everyone's a genius. Everyone's precious. Everyone's perfect. You probably can't hear it, but Charles is outside of my door. For some reason, he's not pushing in. Charles is my dog. If you've never listened to this podcast, he just dropped a pickleball outside the door. He wants me to throw it. Maybe in like 30 minutes, I will. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go to our phone lines. If you've never listened to this podcast before, you can go to energyintuitive.com, which is my website, or mariemanuchehri.com. And on the website, you can click on podcasts, and there's a place where you can leave a voicemail. It's up to 3 minutes. And then I answer them here on the podcast for you. And if you're new, please like and subscribe below. Thank you so much.
Hello, Marie. This is Stephanie from Pennsylvania. I have a glorious life. I am blessed beyond my dreams. I would love a general energy reading. However, I do have a question. Since I was young, maybe in my teen years, I have felt I could read others. I would meet someone and instantly try to figure them out. So my major in college was psychology. Because of this, I would go to bars and I would just observe people and figure them out. As I matured, I started to feel that my reading or knowing of others was actually judgments, that I wasn't reading them, that I was judging them. This has probably been in the last maybe 10 years. I'm 51 now. I began to work on just loving others without judgment.
Yeah.
However, when I listen to your podcasts, I again have feelings about the callers And when you read them, sometimes my feelings are the same as yours.
Right.
So how do I know what are intuitive knowing of others and what are judgments of others? Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you, Stephanie. That is a very cool question. I can't speak for all intuitives, but I can tell you for me, when I'm listening to a caller or talking to a client or teaching a class, one of the things that I feel the utmost energy about that person is love, unconditional love. I just adore them. I cherish them. And I'm not looking for what's wrong. And maybe that's why you feel your reading is judgmental. I don't look for what's wrong. I don't teach that either. I teach for where's the light? Where's the inspiration in the information I'm going to share with someone? Where is the high frequency? Where's the high vibration? So maybe judgment, or you may not be judging at all, but you could be just being hard or critical on yourself. I don't know. Is a lower frequency, right? But when you're looking for the beauty in someone, like when you were explaining your question, I thought it was brilliant. I thought it was lovely. I thought it was smart. I thought it could be very helpful. So notice I'm in bright light. I'm in happy frequency. That's what I'm always looking for is the high vibration of another. It doesn't mean that I don't judge people in my life. I do. I do. We just want to be aware of when we're in a lower frequency because you don't have as much access to intuition when your vibration is low. And it doesn't mean that your impressions are inaccurate. They're just not at the highest volume. Sometimes people come into our lives who may do things that upset us or shock us or hurt us, or, they do things that we would never do. And we're like, yeah, oh my gosh, why is that person in my life, right? And there's always going to be a beautiful reason why anything has happened and why everything has happened in someone's life. We just don't always get to that high vibration or that high frequency when it's in our personal aspect. So I think if you could just, as you're reading people, look for the bright light, look for the high frequency, look for the high vibrational energy, because that's going to give you a bigger picture about what you're reading. And if you decide to read people or teach classes or something of that nature, you're going to give high vibrational information, and people can quickly move through any low vibrational points in their consciousness and start striving for these high frequency consciousness aspects and knowingness that allows them to be more successful. In fact, I believe that the universe, including bodies, like body parts, people on the other side, only communicate through positive light, no matter what's going on in their body, no matter why a person passed over. I believe they always communicate from a high frequency, high vibrational aspect. So when I'm scanning someone's body for, let's say when I do a reading for people, I don't know ahead of time why they've made an appointment. So I actually draw out their energy before we go live most of the time. And I'm scanning for the bright light. That's how I find out they have a back that's been hurting them for years, or that they have a tumor in a certain part of their body, or they've had epilepsy or something of that nature. It's from the bright energy. The bright, happy energy will tell you everything. I hope that's helpful. That was a great question, as all of them are, by the way. I love all the questions.
Hi, Marie. My name is Erin Noble, and I am calling with a question about my heart. I would say last fall, and then took a little bit of a break from it, and then it's coming back up in the last couple months, having some interesting rhythms with my heartbeat. So it's kind of all over the board, and I haven't been able to get a grasp on what triggers it. So I wanted to see what your insights were and to learn a little bit more about what you might see here. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. Well, the fact that you use the word rhythms, because that is an accurate term when it comes to cardiac function, makes me wonder if you have had a checkup or if you have some medical knowledge. If you haven't had a checkup, I would. Why not? The heart's a big organ. It has the most problems, at least in the United States. But I think this is hormonal. So regardless of what I think or not, if you haven't had a checkup, please do. I think that's just smart and wise. But when estrogen starts to decrease, it's not uncommon for women to have palpitations or have irregularities in their heart rate. It's not uncommon. So some things to think about. If indeed, you go and your heart's lovely, you have a lot of interesting activity in your heart chakra. But I also think that a part of what's going on is you're learning to be vulnerable and you're not quite sure that's a good idea. I believe vulnerability is where we reach our power. When we let go and we surrender, we get out of the way and we trust, which is an aspect of vulnerability. So there's a lot going on here because even when hormones start to change, let's say if we're talking about women, if a woman was already in a place of trusting, because that's important for the heart chakra, a lot of energy of betrayal can move through the heart chakra and create problems within the chest cavity. So if a woman is already trusting, like that was already a fairly easy or consistent aspect of her decision-making and her relationship with herself, when she moves into menopause, even if her estrogen, decreases, which I'm assuming it will, it doesn't mean that she's going to have cardiac situations or an irregular heart rate or tachycardia or something of that nature. So you're working on, whether you're conscious of it or not, to trust yourself, which doesn't mean trusting other people. I think that's what some people get confused about. If someone's been betrayed, and betrayals that we experience in this lifetime are going to also be really related to past lives, right? Like anything we're working on in this lifetime is related to previous lifetimes. And so we think, well, I just have to choose better people to be in my life, a better boss, better neighbor, better friend, partner, better family. But in truth, you just have to trust yourself, because if you trust yourself, it doesn't matter how other people behave. You're going to catch on very quickly when someone is not in alignment with what's in your highest good. You're going to catch on very quickly when that happens. And you'll just go, oh, yeah, I'm not going to be best friends with my neighbor, or, oh, wow, this person's incredible. This would be a great person for me to have in my life. So that's why it feels mysterious to you, because, perhaps your hormones are changing, and they can start to change in 30s. They don't have to change in the 40s and 50s. And then you have this desire to trust yourself. Yeah, that's what I think is going on. Okay, but please get a checkup. I think it's a good idea. Thank you.
Hi, Marie. My name is Carla. I'm from Chicago, Illinois. I'm just calling. My dad passed away 5 years ago in 2019, and he passed away pretty abruptly. It was from a blood clot in his leg after he had surgery. So he had surgery in his leg. And he had fallen down some stairs. So we were really blindsided by his death. It happened literally overnight, probably pretty instant. Sorry. So, we didn't have any chance to say goodbye. It was very tragic. We just weren't expecting it at all. At any rate, since then, I've really opened myself up to the idea and the sense of him, obviously not being in physical form, but still being around. He has definitely sent me messages and continues to, and I've had some sessions where I sit down and I just kind of have a chat with him. At any rate, I would just love to see if you could peek in on him and ask him if he has any overarching messages for me at this time. I would just love your take on it. And I've also been embarking on Reiki healing energy and sound healing, and I want to incorporate sound healing into my practice. I would love to have your take on, if I will or should be taking on the role of energy healing. I know it's not me doing the healing; it's the healing. But yeah, I just wanted to know your read on, I guess, my energy, where I'm at vibrationally, and I know maybe by the time you get to this message, that could all change, but it would still be nice to know. Very happy, very grateful for all you do. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. It's my absolute pleasure. Your dad is a hoot, by the way. He's lovely on the other side. I'm sure that you all love him very, very much. I can see why it would be a shock to lose someone like this. But your dad did not like getting older at all. He didn't even want to go in for that surgery, even though he had to. Like, I don't know what it was, something about his mobility. Like, he really needed to have the surgery because he didn't take the best care of his health, and because we live longer these days than we used to, people really need to take care of their health. That means rest well, eat healthy food. I'm always surprised, and I'm not just speaking to you, Carla, about this, just, the audience in general. If people can't afford it, to buy organic food, that is really, I think, truly important. If not, grow food in your backyard, grow your vegetables and fruits. I live in the Northwest. It's a little challenging to grow here. You can, but I don't have the patience there's not enough sunshine kind of a thing. But to buy organic and eat fresh fruits and vegetables. If you have GI issues, cook your food, steam it, your vegetables. I think it's healthy to buy grass-fed meats and eggs that are free range, not corn fed. That's not really healthy. That kind of grain isn't really healthy for people. So anyway, your dad's showing me all these images because he's learned a lot since he's passed over. But he did not want to age or get old. He didn't want anyone to take care of him. He was very uncomfortable with the whole situation. He didn't know he was going to die at that moment. He certainly he didn't have an awareness that he had a blood clot. But he's not regretting this bigger picture he had, that he just didn't want to age. And so people who don't want to age, they leave their body before stuff starts to, change, which really has a lot to do with our perception. We need to change our perception about chronological shifting in our years here so that there isn't, oh my gosh, now I'm this age, this is going to happen to me, or I'm only going to live 20 more years or whatever. And this is something that collectively we need to change in our consciousness. I think you should definitely go into energy work. I think that's an excellent idea. And even though, I always believe people heal themselves, it's the healers that provide the opportunities and facilitate. We're the facilitators on earth. So we're allowing energy to come into our awareness, our consciousness, our body through the walls, the floor, the ceiling to affect others and ourselves. Energy healers get a very positive flood of frequency and vibration into their own body when they're participating in healing work. So what the healer does, what the healer believes, how the healer takes care of themselves is paramount to what they can do and to what level they can perform energy work. And their consciousness has to be very self-loving, self-compassionate. They have to really value and appreciate themselves as much as possible. Not that if you don't do those things, you can't do energy work. Of course you can. It's just that you'll grow in astronomical ways when you are kind and loving and compassionate and appreciative of yourself and whatever it is that you are experiencing as a healer. I'm a fan of sound healing. I do toning in every session with clients and in many classes that I teach as well. So yeah, go for it. And here's what your dad said. He said, live your life fully. Don't hold back. That's what he says. That's his special message. Live your life fully. Don't hold back. Okay. Thank you, Carla.
Hi, Marie. My name is Kirsten. I just spent a couple hours talking to my sister and my mom, and it really depletes me from energy, and I feel very exhausted afterwards.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you could see what happens to my energy, since I don't know what it is. I thank you so much for your help, and thank you for sharing your ability to see things that I don't. Thank you.
You're welcome, Kirsten. So there's a couple things going on, and I'm so sorry. We can kind of tell how much we've grown by hanging out with our family of origin. If someone has a wonderful relationship with their parents or their children or their siblings, that's great. Then, it's not as easily measured. But when you don't, and you haven't seen them for a while, or you haven't talked for a while, and you hang out with them, you really get to see how much you've grown. Because a lot of times we go into old patterns from childhood that make us just feel so inadequate and uncomfortable and unaware, because we regress our coping mechanisms. We go back to childhood. I have a brother. We don't really get along that well. And I haven't been around him in a while, because the last time we were around each other, we screamed our heads off at each other. And I went, "Oh, wow. Great job, honey." That's what I said to myself. "Great job, honey, on your evolutionary path." So when I look at this situation, when you talk to your mom and your sister and maybe other family members, you regress your energy. It's almost like you repel your energy. You shrink it, almost like you're moving into victimization, where you feel like a victim. So what tells me right there is that your mom and your sister don't lift you up. They don't make you feel wonderful or fabulous. They probably have kind of vampire-ish energy, where they suck the energy out of others. And so as you kind of shrink, you're releasing your power, right? And they're sucking up. So in truth, they're not your real family. People who you spend time with, whoever they are, if you feel loved, adored, and cherished when you speak to them or you're in their presence, when you're around people, whoever they are, and you feel loved, adored, and cherished, those are individuals that are your true family, even if you don't share blood or any aspects of DNA. When you have people in your life that you are related to, based on the human perception of that, they're not your family if you don't feel adored, loved, and cherished when you talk to them on the phone or when you're in their presence. So that can be, I think, very freeing to go, "Oh, well, this isn't my real family," or "These women aren't your real family." Doesn't mean that you can't have a relationship with them, but you might change your energy when you're talking to them if you think of them as only souls. Because for some reason, when we get in these dynamics with our familiar lines, we tend to have these expectations. We tend to get disappointed. But if we start to think of people as only souls and not part of our family unit, we begin to have different experiences. I think you're going to raise your vibration the next time you connect, because you're going to be in a different consciousness about it. And I think you're going to notice that they're going to be different too, because they don't know how to react to you when you maintain your power. Yeah, that's kind of cool. So that's what's happening. Very cool. I haven't seen the vampire type of energy in a while.
Hey Marie, it's Erica from Canada. I have been working really hard the last weeks, month or two maybe, ever since I learned the tip, to live from joy and figure out what makes me joyful so that I can stay in a high vibration a majority of the time, which is what I've been aiming for. So I'm just wondering if you have any tips or tricks for that. I know that you said to find the little things, and implement them more in life. So I realized that I really like color. So now I'm got a bunch of colorful paintings I've been doing and just really appreciating colors when I see them. And it does raise my vibration. So thank you for that tip. And I'm just wondering if you have any others in general, and also anything that you think particularly would speak to me, be of help to me. Awesome. Thanks, Marie. You are a rock star. Have an amazing day.
Thank you, Erica. So for you personally, sunlight, like even streaming through the windows or gracing a pond or a lake, that raises your vibration. But what I also heard while you were speaking is that you need to pay attention to what lowers your vibration, because many things that lower our frequency, humans will create a habit with it because it's familiar. And a lot of humans just kind of get comfortable in things that are familiar, but it doesn't mean that it's good for them. So pay attention to what lowers your frequency so you can back out of it. Go look at something that has gorgeous color. Go pay attention to sunlight. Be kind and loving to yourself. That's a great way to raise one's vibration, especially when you think you're not doing as well as you would like to do in life. On any category, any topic, be very kind and loving to yourself. Have internal dialogue that's compassionate and nurturing. That's a great way to raise vibration quickly.
Hello, Marie. My name is Michael. I'm calling from Vancouver, Canada. I have 2 questions for you. Over the past several years, I've noticed increased periodic cramping in my calves and feet. I take Mag Phos tissue salts regularly, and the symptoms have improved but have not disappeared. Also, in the last several months, I've been experiencing a sore Achilles tendon in my right leg, which does not seem to be improving even with physio. It's preventing me from jogging, which I do enjoy doing. So even though I can still walk and dance without any discomfort, I do miss the jogging. Anyway, I'd really appreciate it if you could share any insights you have and any advice you may also have about what I can do to improve these symptoms. My second question is about what my next steps in life could be. My work has been in education as a teacher, and then in leadership and management as a school principal. I am now semi-retired, and I'm contributing to the care and support of my aging mother, and I'm also working part-time. Despite carrying this question for some time, I'm not sensing what direction the next step could be. So I'd really appreciate it if you could share any insights you may be getting from my angel, spirit guides, and also any departed loved ones. My dad passed away 3.5 years ago, and a number of good friends have passed away in the last couple of years. So they may be there with some messages. Thank you, Marie, for taking the time to consider my questions and for sharing your insights. I really appreciate that. Also, a huge thanks for all that you're doing. It is a real gift. Bye for now.
Thank you, Michael. It's my pleasure. Just a few too many questions, Michael, so I'm going to keep it to 2. Make sure the magnesium that you're taking has multiple types of magnesium, because certain people need certain types of magnesium. And I would increase your zinc and take your zinc at the same time you're taking the magnesium, typically at night. I think that'll help. And you also need to see a rolfer. Your fascia is tight, and that could be what's obscuring the tendons, muscles, ligaments. It could be creating lots of problems. So seeing a rolfer or a master muscle activator, those are all really great options. But I think a rolfer would be great for you. Or get a fascia tool yourself and start working it on your body. But I think at this point, I mean, certainly you can always do that. That's good to work on our own bodies. I think you need a professional to start move that fascia and get down into the nitty gritty so you can have the freedoms to be active. Thank you for the work you do and have done in the world. Thank you for your teaching and being a principal. I know those are wonderful professions and obviously things that benefit all of humanity. you have to figure out what makes you happy now. So what you're missing is the joy. You're trying to use your logical mind to determine what's next. And it's going to come to you through a vibration of joy. So you need to start paying attention to what brings you joy. You need to get curious about what that is when you identify something, even if it doesn't seem like it could be a work path or a hobby path. I want you to go investigate it, because the logical mind does not know or understand what is in our highest good, doesn't understand our multisensory abilities or our genius. But through the vibration of joy, you can access it, activate it, and allow it to be in your life. But it has to be through authentic feelings of happiness, which I think you need to practice on a little bit. And not happiness for others, happiness for yourself. Like, what makes you happy? What makes you happy? Okay, thank you, Michael.
Hi, Marie. My name is Meredith. I'm from New Jersey. My question to you is, I am struggling to find my true self, open my third eye. I've known for a long time that I have the ability to be intuitive, as everyone is, but I've been told by mediums that I have this special gift, and
Cool.
I think I do block it. I've blocked it for a long time because of, being told I was always too sensitive and going through a lot of trauma in my youth and in my first marriage, where I blocked a lot of my feelings and my emotions in order to protect myself. And now I'm trying to open that back up, and I'm doing somatic workouts and
Good.
meditation. I was just wondering if you could get a read on whether or not I am blocked and what is blocked. I'm really working on my throat chakra because I do have nodes on my thyroid now that I'm having looked at. But yeah, I was just wondering if you have any advice for me in that area. Thank you so much for everything you do, and really enjoy the podcast and the YouTube station. Have a great day.
Thank you, Meredith. I think the nodes around your thyroid are benign, by the way, but obviously it's always good to have them checked out, but I think they're benign. I don't think you have a block. Your third eye is wide open. It's gorgeous. You have a ton of dark, dark purple in your third eye. What is being skipped, which will also affect the throat chakra, which affects the thyroid gland, is you knowing what you really feel, which you alluded to in here in my note that I made of your question. So all you have to do is rest in the lower half of your body. You just have to get out of your head and start to feel your glute muscles, wiggle your toes, feel your thighs. And when you do that, your mind has to pay attention to that. Like, what do the thighs feel like? What do the glute muscles feel like? So energy literally leaves the brain, moves through the blood-brain barrier, starts to move lower and lower in the body. And when you access the lower half of your body, when you put more energy there than in the mind, you connect to the emotional response system. And when you connect to the emotional response system, that allows you to have an awareness of your intuition. And when you have an awareness of your intuition, you start to speak more of your truth. I think it's a great sign that other people have noticed that you have lovely intuition. I think that's good. I think people who have a strong intuitive nature, they make much better choices in their life. I think all people will make better choices in their life if they use their intuition. But those who have a really strong nature, they're meant to use their intuitive abilities, even professionally. They need their intuition. It's like they don't have a full deck of knowledge with them without this stunning perception of life that's very different than the logical mind. So learn to rest in the lower half of your body. Often tell yourself when you're resting there, based on what I just previously described, that you're safe there. So people who learn to go to their logical mind because they didn't want to feel their feelings, because their surroundings, made them feel uncomfortable, so they created this great coping mechanism by going to their logical mind. So it's a great effort. But when you start to go into the lower half of your body, you just need to tell yourself that you're safe, so that you give yourself more access to your emotional response system, which is where the access to your intuition lies. They all are interconnected. There's a beautiful relationship between the second chakra and the sixth chakra. And of course, the fifth, because if you feel, then you can speak your truth. And real feelings are calm. Like, I know you're doing all the somatic work, which is great to help release trauma, but real emotions are calm. They're compassionate and they're a little bit surprising in a good way. I hope that's helpful, and I wish you the best of luck in your discovery. Have a great day in New York. And thank you everyone for listening to the podcast. Have a beautiful, beautiful day. I'm recording on March 2nd, and this will be released tomorrow morning. And I'm recording in the Northwest. Bye-bye for now.